This video is brought to you by Pahrump Valley Air Conditioning and Heating, 775-727-7488.
The Kiwanis Club's memorial service featured former Colonel Patrick Neri, who emceed the event from a makeshift stage in the park. Kiwani and Reva Braun, whose husband was a first responder in New York City, organized the event. A number of people spoke to the crowd, recounting their own personal stories, including a Pahrump woman who lived in New York City at the time.
Tower 2 started falling. We all stopped and watched the collapse in disbelief. I heard the sounds, the terrible sounds, and the roaring that I can't really put into words. The buildings, the debris was rolling through the streets, looking like an avalanche. Hundreds or maybe thousands of people were running away over the Brooklyn Bridge to escape the chaos. But some were too late.
The memorial ceremony also featured a number of singers, and our own Sheriff Sharon Worley spoke of her memory that very morning 2 decades ago.
So my job at that particular time was emergency management for Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories at the Nevada test site. So I went into work and I said, "Do you know what's going on?" And they looked at me and said, "No, why?" I said, "We need to go to the EOC. We need to put it up. We need to find out what's going on." So they all rushed in. They alerted the fire department, which was right next door to us. And we all put our TVs on. And immediately after that, we shut down the entire test site. We shut down all of the federal buildings in Las Vegas. We shut down so many things so fast, was almost in a blink of an eye.
Two of the Miss Senior Golden Years queens, Lorraine Babbitt and Terry Rogers, told some published stories of those who were at the Twin Towers that day.
One hero was a man named Rick Rescorla, a retired U.S. Army officer who got a job as Director of Security for Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, that was previously known as Dean Witter. He'd anticipated attacks due to the vulnerable nature of the building, and he pleaded with his firm to find a new office space. Because that wasn't an option due to the lease agreements, Rescorla enforced regular drills so that employees knew how to evacuate in case an emergency. On 9/11, Rescorla was supposed to be home but was covering for a coworker. He is responsible for saving 2,700 people, singing inspirational songs into a megaphone while escorting people in and out of the building. Sadly, Rescorla did not make it out that day. However, his memory lives on through the Rick Rescorla Memorial and a book written by his wife. So I actually was so intrigued by his story, and you can't read his story without tears just flowing.
But there's another story of another hero. His name was Wells Remy Cruther. Another hero on 9/11, known by the people he saved as the young man with the red bandana, which he used to cover his nose and mouth to protect against smoke and debris. Crowther had been a volunteer firefighter as a teenager, and during 9/11 was working as an equities trader on the 104th floor of the South Tower. When the chaos ensued, Cruther took charge to move groups out of the building, going back in numerous times. He saved over 15 lives, though lost his own. His memory lives on through the Wells Remy Cruther Trust, and his red bandana can be seen at the 9/11 Museum.
During the September 11th attacks in 2001, 2,977 people were killed, 19 hijackers committed murder-suicide, and more than 6,000 others were injured. The immediate deaths included 265 on the 4 planes, including the terrorists, 2,606 in the World Trade Center towers and in the surrounding area, and 125 at the Pentagon. The attacks remain the deadliest terrorist act in U.S. history.